Good morning, Year 3. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas and a very happy New Year. Unfortunately, you can't be in school, so we are having to record this for you at home, but hopefully you'll still be able to access all the things that we are doing in school. So I'm just going to share my screen so you can see what we're doing. This is going to be our reading session, and we're starting a new text this half term, and that text is Bill's New Frock. So let me just make it full screen so that you can see. Okay, so this term we're going to be looking at Bill's New Frock, which is a story by Anne Fine. I would like you to look at the front cover of this text, and I want you to work out what type of text it is. Is it fiction? Is it non-fiction? And make a prediction on what you think this book is going to be about. Okay, so you can pause this video to make your predictions now. Hopefully you've made some accurate predictions. This is in fact a fiction book. Okay, it's a fiction text. So we're going to go through our vocabulary, and these vocabulary words are going to be featured in the text. I'm going to teach them to you now so that when you're reading the text, you will understand these words in context, and you can also point them out for yourself. So I'm going to show you the picture and read the definition of the word, and you are going to try and guess what that word is. And I'm going to give you time to guess, and then I will reveal what the answer is. So having a look at this picture, we have a man that seems to be quite confused. The definition that we have here is to be extremely confused about something. To be extremely confused about something. I want you to have a think, what word means to be extremely confused about something? Pause the video now so that you can have some time to think. Okay, hopefully you've had some time to think. The word that means to be extremely confused about something was baffled. Okay, this man is very baffled. Okay, baffled. Repeat that after me. Baffled. An example of using baffled in a sentence may be, Miss Williams was very baffled when solving the crossword puzzle. Miss Williams was very baffled when solving the crossword puzzle. Okay, moving on to our next word. We have a girl here who looks very surprised. You can see she's surprised from her facial expressions. Okay, what do you think the word is? The definition means great surprise. A great surprise. Pause the video now so you can have time to think and guess what the word might be. Okay, the word was astonishment. Astonishment. And we can do for astonishment, we can do that same action. So with our hands on our cheeks, and we can look astonished. Okay, to use astonishment in a sentence, I could say, Miss Chowdhury looked at the children in astonishment because they all had potatoes on their heads. Miss Chowdhury looked at the children in astonishment because they all had potatoes on their heads. Astonishment. The next word is something that is very complicated and awkward to use. Over here you can see that there are badges, and here is the backs of the badges, and they're quite small, quite complicated and awkward to use. It's hard to put on. What do you think the word is? What word means complicated and awkward to use? Pause the video so that you can have time to think about that now. Okay, the word was fiddly. Fiddly. And to use that in a sentence, I might say, the badges were very fiddly to put on. The badges were very fiddly to put on. Okay, and fiddly, you can do an action with your hands, trying to fiddle with something. The next word is to move swiftly and smoothly. Looking at the picture, I can see there is a cheetah, and it's running very fast. Okay, and the movement that it's doing is moving very swiftly and smoothly. What word do you think means to move swiftly and smoothly? Have some time to think by pausing the video now. The word was swept. Swept. And with swept, I would like you to move your hand swiftly and smoothly for the action for swept. Okay. And to put swept into a sentence, I could say, the cheetah swept through the grasslands. The cheetah rapidly swept through the grasslands. Okay, our next word, vocabulary word, means to pull or drag with effort or force. So to pull or drag something with effort or force. Okay, have a look at the picture. You can see that this woman is pulling and dragging the boxes with effort, with great effort or force. What is the word that means that definition? Have some time to think by pausing the video now. The word was haul or hauling. The lady is hauling the boxes onto the lorry. The lady is hauling the boxes onto the lorry. And the last word here, we've got a picture of a very, very fierce wolf, it appears to be, and it looks very vicious. The definition that we have to describe this word is in a fierce or ferocious manner. In a fierce or ferocious manner. Pause the video and have some time to think. What could this word be? The word was savagely. Savagely. And you can maybe pull quite a fierce or ferocious, vicious face. Okay? That will be our action for savagely. And to give you a sentence with the word savagely, I could say the wolf savagely devoured the innocent lamb. The wolf savagely devoured the innocent lamb. Okay, so those are our vocabulary words for this week. When you spot them in the text, make sure you say the word out loud, and that way it can help you remember all the different vocabulary words that we have been learning. So what I want you to do now, hopefully you've either printed off the text, which was on the file, or you have a copy of it in front of you on your computer screen. I would like you to follow it with your reading fingers. When I say join in, please join in with me. And sometimes I might read it by myself. Making sure you're tracking the words as we go along with your reading fingers. I'm going to use my laser pen to help me follow the text, and that will be my reading finger. Okay, so we're going to start at chapter 1, a really awful start. When Bill Simpson woke up on Monday morning, he found he was a girl. He was standing, staring at himself in the mirror, quite baffled. There was a word, baffled, when his mother swept in. Swept in. Why don't you wear this pretty pink dress? She said. I never wear dresses, Bill burst out. I know, his mother said. It's such a pity. And to his astonishment, to his surprise, well done, before he could even begin to argue, she had dropped the dress over his head and zipped up the back. I'll leave you to do up the shell buttons, she said. They're a bit fiddly, and I'm late for work. So you can see over here, we've got Bill's mum putting the dress on him, and she's going to leave him to do the buttons because she's going to be late for work. Can you please join in with me for this next text all together? And she swept out, leaving him staring in dismay at the mirror. In it, a girl with his curly red hair and wearing a pretty pink frock with fiddly shell buttons was staring back at him in equal dismay. This can't be true, Bill Simpson said to himself. This cannot be true. He stepped out of his bedroom just as his father was rushing past. He, too, was late getting off to work. Mr. Simpson leaned over and planted a kiss on Bill's cheek. Bye, Poppet, he said, ruffling Bill's curls. You look very sweet today. It's not often we see you in a frock, is it? He ran down the stairs and out of the house so quickly he didn't see Bill scowl or hear what he muttered savagely under his breath. So muttered savagely, he muttered ferociously, which tells you a little bit about how he was feeling. Bella the cat didn't seem to notice any difference. She purred and rubbed her soft furry body around his ankles in exactly the same way as she always did. Okay, I'm going to read this next section so you can stop joining in. And Bill found himself spooning up his cornflakes as usual. It was as if he couldn't help it. He left the house at the usual time too. He didn't seem to have any choice. Things, though odd, were just going on in their own way, as in a dream. Or it could be a nightmare, for hanging about on the corner was a gang of boys from the other school. Bill recognised the one they called Mean Malcolm in his purple-studded jacket. Can you join in with me for this next section? I think I'll go round the long way instead, Bill thought to himself. I don't want to be tripped over or tripped up in one of their nasty scuffles like last week when all the scabs were kicked off my ankle. Then Bill heard the most piercing whistle. He looked around to see where that noise was coming from, then realised Mean Malcolm was whistling at him. Bill Simpson blushed so pink that all his freckles disappeared. He felt so foolish he forgot to turn off at the next corner to go round the long way. He ended up walking right past the gang. Okay, so we're going to continue reading this next bit all together. Mean Malcolm just sprawled against the railings, whistling at Bill as he went by wearing his pretty pink frock with shell buttons. Bill Simpson thought to himself, I'd rather have the scabs kicked off my ankle. And then I'm going to read this next section. When he reached the main road, there was an elderly woman with grey curly hair already standing at the curb. To feel safe from the gang, he stood at her side. Give me your hand, little girl, she said. I'll see us both safely across the road. No, really, insisted Bill. I'm fine, honestly. I cross it every day by myself. The woman simply didn't listen. She just reached down and grasped his wrist, hauling him after her across the road. Hopefully you spotted hauling, which was one of our vocabulary words. All together for this last section, please. On the far side, she looked down approvingly as she released him. That's such a pretty frock, she said. You mind, you keep it nice and clean. Rather than say something disagreeable, rather than say something disagreeable, Bill ran off quickly. The head teacher was standing at the school gates, holding his watch in the palm of his hands, watching the last few stragglers arrive. Get your skates on, Stephen Irwin, he yelled. And move, Tom Warren. Another boy charged round the corner and cut in front of Bill. Late, Andrew, the head teacher called out fiercely. Late, late, late. Then it was Bill's turn to go past. That's right, the head teacher called out. And we're going to stop there because we're just reading pages 1 to 7. So hopefully you've understood a bit about that text. Feel free to go back and read it again. Your independent activity is going to be to complete the vocabulary word do sheet. So over here, we have some of the vocabulary words that we've learnt. We have baffled, swept, fiddly, hauling, astonishment, savagely. Those are all the words that we have learnt today. We are now going to be putting these words and matching them with the correct definitions. What I will do for you is I will read out the definitions and then you can match the words to those. So the first one is complicated and awkward to use. That should say use, not use, so I do apologise. Complicated and awkward to use. The next definition is to be extremely confused about something. To be extremely confused about something. The next word is in a fierce or strong manner. In a fierce or strong manner. The next definition is great surprise. Great surprise. The next definition is to pull or drag with effort or force. To pull or drag with effort or force. And the last one is to move swiftly and smoothly. To move swiftly and smoothly. Just to add on to that one, I think we also used in a fierce, strong or vicious manner for that one. So hopefully that gives you a clue. Once you've completed this section, you can choose one of the words and write your own sentence using one of these vocabulary words down below in this section. Okay, well done.